DG CRPF RR Bhatnagar spoke exclusively to India Today's news director Rahul Kanwal, where he once again asserted that forces will finally seek their revenge from Pakistan and avenge the Pulwama terror attack. Listen in to this India Today exclusive.
Joining us in India Today at this time, the Director General of the Central Reserve Police Force. He heads the force that suffered these major casualties in Pulwama, and remember, it is the CRPF that operates in tougher conditions than virtually any other paramilitary force in this country. Rajiv Bhatnagar, welcome to India Today. All of India has felt so bad about this dastardly Pakistani attack in Pulwama and the death of 40 of your brave soldiers. You know, so at the very outset, our condolences, our respect to you and to the martyrs, their families, for what happened at Pulwama, sir.
We appreciate your sentiment and the nation's support.
Mr. Bhatnagar, I want to ask you at the outset, you know, your views on Pulwama and how you intend to move from here. 40 deaths in one attack. It's never happened in Jammu and Kashmir before this. You know, you've been speaking to a lot of the CRPF Jawans. How are they looking at what happened? How are you looking at this attack and what needs to be done next, sir?
It is indeed a great loss, but we are a professional force, and I spent 2 days with my force in Kashmir, and I have interacted with my officers and men, and they are taking it as a professional force, as a challenge, and with the glorious traditions of the force of valor and sacrifice, we will certainly come up to any challenges offered.
How many of your boys are injured at this moment, sir? How are they doing?
Five of our personnel were injured. They are fine and they are out of danger.
Sir, an attack of this magnitude would have required a lot of planning. You know, while the NIA does its own probe, we've got explosives experts on the ground as well, looking at what they can pick up. What have you been able to gather about how the Jaish-e-Mohammed was able to execute an attack of this nature?
See, that, like you have said, is a matter of investigation. We have also been looking at it, and as you have seen, that intelligence-based operations have already started in close conjunction with the J&K police and the army. And also, in terms of the new threat, we are putting in systems in place to be able to meet this new threat.
Sir, we had the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan on national TV in India and Pakistan before this, and he said, where is the evidence? Saboot do. How are you blaming us? Humne nahi kiya. This doesn't suit us. This is not in our interest. You know, as the leader of the force that suffered these losses and casualties, you know, how strong and compelling do you believe is the evidence against Pakistan, sir?
The evidence, the NIA would be collecting the evidence, and as we are aware of the security scenario there and the presence of foreign terrorists in the different tanzeems, there has been ample evidence in many instances, and I am sure in this case also the evidence is with the investigating and the intelligence agencies.
You know, Imran Khan also threatened that there will be massive retaliation by Pakistan in the event of any Indian military operation. Do you believe, sir, that he is coming under pressure and reading from a script being written for him by the Pakistani army?
The security situation in J&K, as you have seen, The security forces are working in very close collaboration, and there have been very notable successes in the last couple of years. The Tanzeems are desperate, and you have recently seen also a successful operation and the elimination of many of their top commanders, and this action will continue.
What is your reading, Mr. Bhatnagar, of the current security situation in the Kashmir Valley, especially in South Kashmir, in those 5 districts which are most terror prone? You know, people, when they look at an attack like Pulwama, wonder, despite Operation All Out, despite all the effort everyone's making, why are we not able to finish this problem, sir?
The Tanzeems, as you know, there are some foreign terrorists who infiltrate from across the border, and there are some local recruits. But recruitment of late has been going down, and the maximum number of terrorists have been eliminated last year. It has definitely had an effect on all the Tanzeems, and if you were to look at the CRPF, the Fedayeen attacks on their camps have been effectively countered. There has been no attack on our convoy before this in the last 2 years. All attacks have been rebutted, and as you can see, the recruitment has also been going down. The stone pelting has also come down. So definitely the security forces have the upper hand.
So how did an attack of this nature happen? You know, one thing that's been said often is that were standard operating procedures violated? How is it that a civilian vehicle was able to get so close to a CRPF convoy laden with such heavy dose of IEDs? Why could nobody stop that? So, you know, what's your response to all those who say that this in some cases is a major intelligence and security lapse?
You see, the convoys have been operating for a long time, and when the convoys operate on the highways, the civilian traffic is not stopped, so they move along. We sanitize the road in terms of the IEDs which may be planted on the road, in terms of the ambush attacks, the standoff fire attacks that have been taken place, and we have effectively countered it over the last 2 years with no losses on our convoys on the highways. So this was a new kind of a threat, and we have to now take appropriate countermeasures.
So how is the functioning of the CRPF going to change post this? How will you ensure that in the future no vehicle-borne IED is able to line up with a CRPF convoy and cause the kind of devastation that Adil Dar was able to on the 14th of February?
See, for the convoys, we are planning in conjunction with the army and the other CRPFs, the JK police, the traffic police, to be able to control the traffic when the convoys move. The question of this threat will always remain, because it is not only the convoys that move. There are very different movements taking place all the time in the valley. There are forces which are going out for different duties, for different operations. Senior officers are also traveling. So we'll take up. You have seen the effort is being made to neutralize the module which may be responsible for it. Then also we are upgrading our IED capabilities in the valley in terms of IED detection, in terms of IED destruction. We are training our BDDS teams, providing them the equipment. So we should or other society camps to see that on the gates, how do we stop a vehicle coming or coming in? You know, CRPF has more than 400 camps across Kashmir, and some of them camps are on private locations. So it is a challenge, and we are working at it.
So was bad weather to blame in some ways for why we had 78 vehicles in that convoy, why there were 2,500 people in that one single convoy? Do you think it was a bit of bad luck with bad weather from the 4th of February blocking the Banihal tunnel and therefore not allowing for regular convoys to pass, creating a pile-up?
See, this was a convoy which was almost 10 days. There was no convoy from the 4th, and so Jawans had piled up. There were almost more than 5,000 personnel which were actually required in the valley for duties, which were in Jammu. And this, I can tell you, is routine for some of the days in winter and during the monsoons when the convoy is not able to run. So a bigger than usual convoy is not unusual at this time of the year. And anyway, as you have seen, it was the 5th vehicle from the front which was attacked. So the size of the convoy is not really an issue in this case.
Is it true that the CRPF asked the Ministry of Home Affairs for airlifts for its Jawans when they're coming back from vacation, and that this was turned down by the government, sir?
See, it has to be understood that convoys are a necessity and would always run for logistics as well as personnel. Support of the MHA is always given, and of the MOD, for airlifting personnel, but this only supplements the effort. It cannot certainly replace the convoys.
You know, I just want to tell our viewers that I was very recently with the Central Reserve Police Force in South Bastar, in Dantewala, in Sukma, the kind of conditions that the CRPF operates in, the hostility of the terrain, the hostility of the Naxal forces there, and even in the Kashmir Valley, some of the toughest counter-insurgency challenges are given to the CRPF. And for the effort that you all make, for the challenges that you all face, for the threats that you encounter, and for the patriotism that you show, Mr. Bhatnagar, the entire country owes a mountain of gratitude to every single soldier and officer of this brave paramilitary force of India.
The CRPF morale is very high. Our officers and men are certainly up to the most difficult internal security challenges that are thrown at us. Our force has a tradition of valor and sacrifice and is the most decorated force, and certainly you would find that we would in future also be in the service of the nation and take up any challenges and be up to them in the future. And we are very grateful for the support of the nation, and it really enhances our morale and it gives us the confidence to do even better.
So in that Bollywood film Uri, they asked before heading into an operation at the end of some casualties being taken by the forces as well, how's the Josh? And if I were to say that when you pose this question to your Jawans and as leader of the force that suffered these very severe casualties, Director General of the CRPF, Mr. Bhatnagar, how's the Josh?
It's really, the response is deafening. If you were to see, I had recently visited all my troops, many of them, I met almost more than 1,000 of them on my trip this time, and they are full of josh, full of patriotism, full of professionalism, and they are raring to go.
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there. Mr. R.R. Bhatnagar, Director General of the Central Reserve Police Force. You know, you've had people all across the country speak to you, talk to you, express their condolences, express their anguish, their anger and their frustration after these deaths. You've led the force in very, very trying circumstances after this massive encounter. India now waits for the armed forces to strike back and hit back after what happened at Pulwama. You know, my thoughts and prayers, Director General, with the family members of every single soldier who was martyred in that encounter. You know, after a few days, when life starts returning to normal, for those family members, life will never ever be normal, and that's the kind of risk that the officers take, the Jawans take, and that's the kind of support they get from their family members. No one said, "Ye kyun hua?" All of them said, you know, it's unfortunate that this happened. We have to teach Pakistan a lesson. So it's commendable not just on the part of the officers and jawans who took the risks themselves, but also the manner in which all these families have reacted, sir.
Thank you so much for your support. The grief of the families, we are with them in their loss. The support of the nation and your support goes a long way, and they are a part of our family, and they will always remain a part of our family. And we salute our brave heroes and also their families. Jai Hind.
Director General of the CRPF, Rajiv Bhatnagar, for joining us on India Today. Thank you very much, sir. We wish you all the very best as you go about tweaking standard operating procedures on the ground to ensure that what happened at Pulwama doesn't get repeated. But remember, as they say in counterinsurgency, the security forces need to be successful each and every time, and there's so many encounters that we've stopped, so many terrorist attacks that have been foiled. The terrorist needs to succeed just once, and it's very unfortunate that that is what happened at Pulwama. Hopefully it won't happen again. Mr. Bhatnagar, for joining us, thank you.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.